I come to devour. You will know the day, you will know the hour. I'm gonna give Pereira a golden shower. I'm not just gonna win, I'm gonna piss on him. I'm gonna shama on your mama. This guy's the baddest on the planet. Look how I speak to him. Like my dog, like my bitch. Fuck you.
Então,
What you gonna do?
Então, Potter, vou traduzir o
You ain't gonna do shit.
Ele diz...
Ilia Topuria,
Take him out. Take him out.
And you
Get
shouldn't
out of-
find your wife in Miami.
Get out.
Am I right, you two?
Bye, you little pussy.
Imagine a UFC press conference in motion. Fighters arranged across the stage, champions and contenders all vying for camera time, building hype for their upcoming wars. You expect trash talk, psychological warfare, maybe an intense face-off. But what happens when someone hijacks the entire show? Not to promote his own scheduled fight, but to launch an all-out assault on two of the promotion's biggest stars, turning a routine media event into an unprecedented masterclass of chaos and tactical genius. This goes beyond fighting. This is theater, this is psychological warfare, and this is one of the most incredible meltdowns in UFC history that left everyone speechless, including the man who got thrown out. What really happened in those moments, and how did one fighter steal an entire press conference despite not even having a relevant fight on the card?
If you haven't seen the press conference, you've heard about it. Okay, don't go back and watch it. Watch this. Watch me recap it instead. I'll do it for you in 3 minutes. I'll save you a half hour, but I think you'll appreciate this more. If martial arts, you might find this interesting.
Chael Sonnen, always the mastermind, always thinking 3 moves ahead. Here, he immediately hooks our attention, promising something far better than watching the full chaotic footage. He's setting up for a breakdown masterpiece, going beyond simple storytelling. It's perfectly designed for editing, providing focus, impact, and dripping with the raw energy that defines the UFC. He understands that attention equals currency, and he's promising massive returns on our investment. To truly grasp the genius or maybe madness of this particular press conference, we need crucial context. The UFC, now a global empire, wasn't always so widely accepted. In fact, its journey to mainstream legitimacy involved navigating political battles. Remember those early days? The calls for bans? The critics who called it human cockfighting? It was an uphill war against opposition, but then a strange legal loophole changed everything. An unexpected justification, a clever rebranding that redefined the sport's very nature. What was this secret weapon that allowed the UFC to break into even the most hostile markets?
And the UFC ultimately hired a firm that came in from a political action standpoint of arguing a law that had to do with art and arguing that the state could not interfere or stop somebody's expression of art.
This revelation offers critical insight into understanding the deeper mechanics of MMA. The UFC didn't just muscle its way into New York through pure force. It outsmarted the system by arguing that mixed martial arts was artistic expression. This wasn't about physical competition from a legal standpoint, a form of creative communication. This subtle reframing completely changes how we should view everything that happens outside the cage. It's performance art, it's storytelling. It's a stage for individual expression. This isn't just athletic competition, it's entertainment theater, a raw, unfiltered showcase of human drama. This legal foundation sets the conceptual framework for Chael's entire analysis, validating the idea that press conferences are absolutely performance stages. And that, folks, is the revelation. The UFC is fundamentally performance. The fighters are performers. The octagon is their stage, and the press conferences are live theater. This goes beyond simple punches and wrestling moves. It's about creating perception, building character, controlling the narrative. This is where champions are made outside of competition. It's where legends are born, and it's where one man, Josh Hokit, decided to push the boundaries of performance art beyond anything ever attempted. Did his gamble pay off? The results speak for themselves.
Particularly at the press conferences. That's all they're doing is expressing themselves, right? That's all they're doing is body language and performing. So let's take a look at today's. Today's was a top 3 press conference of all time.
Now, this was a press conference. Chael emphasizes the core principle. Press conferences are performance platforms. They're not just pre-fight Q&A sessions. They're extensions of the fight itself. This isn't about politeness or journalism. It's about psychological warfare, mental dominance, and capturing attention. For Chael to rank this particular event among the top 3 press conferences ever immediately signals its extraordinary importance. He's preparing us for something special, something that transcended typical fight promotion. He's telling us this went beyond mere conversation. It was a clinic in strategic self-promotion. But who was this event supposed to showcase? Every press conference has a headliner, a main character around whom the concentrated power of media attention revolves. For the White House card, that headliner was undoubtedly Ilia Topuria. The Matador was riding an incredible wave of momentum, already being crowned as the heir to Conor McGregor's throne. He wasn't just a champion, he was the future, the promotional face of the next era. This was his moment, this was his stage, everyone knew it, everyone expected it. But sometimes, even the brightest stars can be eclipsed by an unexpected disruption. Who would have the audacity to challenge the spotlight of the sport's rising superstar?
Who many say is the sport's biggest star. That, of course, is in the absence of Conor McGregor, but the experts are saying even with Conor McGregor, eventually, Ilia Topuria will be able to surpass him.
Chael outlines the immense pressure and expectations surrounding Ilia Topuria. He's not just a title holder, he's a potential game changer, a fighter who possibly, just possibly, could rival Conor McGregor's mainstream appeal. This establishes the incredibly high stakes of Topuria's presence at the press conference. He came to solidify his position, to own the room, to show the world why he was the sport's premier attraction. This context makes Hokit's actions exponentially more bold and impactful. Imagine having all that momentum, all that power, and then watching someone completely steal your thunder. How would you react? So Ilia Topuria, the defending champion, the man everyone came to see, is seated. The cameras are rolling, the questions are prepared. This is his moment, but then a wild card enters the equation. A man with different plans, a different vision for how this performance art should be executed. Josh Hokit was scheduled to face Derek Lewis, a dangerous opponent in his own right. Standard protocol says you use this platform to sell that fight, build drama, verbally spar with your assigned opponent. But Hokit saw a different target, a much bigger target, a target that would shake the foundations of the sport. What kind of disruptor ignores his actual opponent for a bigger opportunity?
So, okay, great. We haven't had much Ilia. Ilia's at the press conference. This is kind of going to be an Ilia day, and then everybody else around it. And you would understand that he's the champion of the world, and he's the main event. We would get that. Well, Josh Hokit has other plans. And Hokit's plan
was not to steal. Chael masterfully highlights the prevailing expectation. This was Ilia's moment, the champion, the main event, the biggest name. This builds the dramatic tension for Hoax's disruption. Hoax's different agenda immediately creates intrigue because he's not just seeking attention, but actively working against the established narrative. The phrase "not to steal Ilia's spotlight" is brilliant misdirection because that's exactly what he ultimately did, albeit indirectly. It reveals Hoax's real target wasn't Ilia, but someone with even greater potential. This strategic choice is a testament to his intelligence. Hoax wasn't interested in a standard verbal sparring match with Derek Lewis. That was small opportunity. He saw a bigger prize, a more lucrative path. His sights were set directly on Alex Pereira, the man he believed was destined for championship gold. This wasn't just trash talk. It was a strategic investment, a high-stakes bet on the future of the light heavyweight division. He wasn't building a fight, he was building his career in the most audacious way possible. He was betting everything on Pereira's rise. But what happens when your entire strategy depends on someone else winning a title? What if your whole approach crumbles if they fall short?
His plan was to use his microphone time, which was supposed to be a venom against Derek Lewis, and Hokit's going, no. I don't need to build something with Derek Lewis. I already got it. I'm going to build it against Pereira. Now, the reason that is a calculated plan is Josh doesn't really want to fight.
This section reveals Hokit's strategic brilliance. He understood the business mechanics of attention in the UFC. Fighting Derek Lewis was a solid fight, but a fight with Alex Pereira, especially a champion Pereira, was a superstar fight. He correctly assessed that he already had the Lewis fight locked up, but the Pereira fight needed narrative foundation. Chael makes it clear that this wasn't about personal beef. It was calculated career advancement. This wasn't about emotion. It was about career optimization. He's playing a sophisticated game and everyone else is just reacting. This wasn't just a call-out, it was a declaration of faith. Hokit wasn't just challenging Pereira, he was endorsing him. He was betting his career momentum on Pereira capturing the light heavyweight crown. The sheer audacity of this strategy is breathtaking. Think about risking your entire promotional plan, your biggest career boost, on a future event that's completely outside your control. It's a gamble of epic proportions, a true high-risk, high-reward calculation. It shows a sophisticated understanding of the promotional landscape, a willingness to play chess while others are playing checkers. But how would Pereira, a man known for his calm demeanor and devastating power, respond to being used as a piece in someone else's game?
He wants to fight for the world championship. He is betting. He's putting everything in the basket of Pereira is going to win the world title. Like Josh Hokit's desire to fight Pereira and his motivation for Pereira goes up in flames if Pereira doesn't come out with the victory on the White House lawn. Okay.
But this is still calculated strategy. Chalet breaks down the incredible strategic depth of Hokit's actions. This wasn't just confrontation, it was prophecy. Hokit's entire promotional investment was riding on Pereira winning his next fight. This reveals a level of foresight and risk tolerance rarely seen. He's not just building a rivalry, he's predicting a championship reign. The White House law comparison adds a layer of the extraordinary, highlighting the grandeur of the moment. This section confirms Hokit's status as a master strategist, willing to bet big on his vision. But every chess player must anticipate their opponent's moves. Alex Carrera-Palatin is a man of few words but immense power. He is disciplined, focused, and rarely gets distracted from his mission. He had a title fight coming up, a date with destiny. He wasn't about to let some challenger derail his focus. His strategy was clear: ignore the provocateur, starve the beast of attention. Don't give Hokit the reaction he craved. It was a perfectly reasonable tactical decision based on mental discipline and professional standards. But sometimes the best defense isn't enough when you're facing an aggressor who doesn't play by the rules. How do you stop a force that refuses to acknowledge your silence, yet keeps swinging?
Pereira decides when Hokit goes after him. Pereira decides, and it was very clear that he had calculated this ahead of time, knowing that this might happen. Pereira decided to handle it by saying, hey, I'm not going to respond to you, I'm not going to address you. And the reason is I have no reason to.
Pereira's decision to disengage was a highly calculated move, what most would consider the right strategy. He understood Hokit's game and chose to deny him the satisfaction of a reaction. His focus on his actual opponent, Sorokin, was a testament to his professionalism and discipline. This clip highlights the clash of strategies: Hokit's aggressive, narrative-driven offense versus Pereira's disciplined, silent defense. It sets up why Hokit's relentless pressure was so effective. He directly countered Pereira's carefully planned avoidance. What happens when good advice just isn't enough? Pereira's advice was sound, excellent even. Ignore the troll, don't feed the beast. It works 99% of the time, but Josh Hokit wasn't just any troll. He was a force of nature, a relentless storm of verbal aggression. He didn't care if Pereira responded. He didn't need engagement to keep attacking. He was playing a different game, a more advanced one. While Pereira was playing checkers, Hokit was moving pieces on a chessboard, anticipating every defensive move and escalating the pressure. He simply wouldn't stop. He turned Pereira's silence into a stage for his own performance. How do you silence a man who thrives on being ignored?
And frankly, whoever gave Alex that advice, that it was good advice. That was a really good way to handle it. It did not work, but that doesn't mean the advice wasn't good. It just didn't work because Hokit was better than the advice. Hokit wasn't playing checkers. He was playing chess.
This is where Shale captures the essence of Hokit's genius. He was playing chess, not checkers. Pereira's disciplined silence, while theoretically sound, was exactly what Hokit needed to maintain his narrative dominance. Hokit wasn't seeking a back-and-forth exchange, he was seeking coverage, attention, and an uninterrupted, unchallenged platform to build his call-out. He weaponized Pereira's non-engagement, turning a defensive strategy into an offensive tool for himself. It was a masterclass in psychological warfare, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of media dynamics. But even the most disciplined fighters have a breaking point. The relentless verbal assault eventually cracked through Pereira's composed exterior, forcing him to abandon his professional silence and engage in the very spectacle he was trying to avoid. When restraint finally breaks, the explosion is always more dramatic, and Hokit had successfully orchestrated exactly that moment, proving that sometimes the most calculated disruption can shatter even the strongest mental defenses.